98.5. If you want to interact with any of our guests or have any questions or comments or concerns, please call in 816-599-6893. If you want to email your comments or questions or concerns, just tell us that this is your favorite show to KUAW.
There you are, you know.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing? This is the Lyne't Gray Show with here on KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom, Kansas City's first global community radio station. You are most likely watching and listening to the Lyne't Gray Show on KUAW-radio on Facebook. If you're not watching on Facebook, KUAW Spacebar Radio on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and what's the other one, Mr. Walker? What am I missing? Facebook. Okay. Yeah, I'm so used to saying the other one, Periscope. That's what I'm missing. Okay. And also, you can go to the TuneIn app and type in KUAW. So today, as usual, we have Jorge Fuller with Fuller for the People. Hey, son. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, y'all might as well go on ahead and keep writing his name and learning how to spell it and writing it in the right way so it will count, because Jorge definitely is going to be running for something in the future. He's amazing. He does amazing work in the community. And, you know, every week I let him know I'm on air. You come in, let us know, because as y'all see, when he inputs, you all get great information. So I want to keep promoting Jorge Fuller and Fuller for the People. His is it a consulting firm, Fuller for the People? It seems like a consulting firm.
Services I get to offer.
Is what?
One of the services that I offer.
One of the services, and I will say this. It's like a consulting firm, Fuller for the People is. I mean, he might not look at it like that, but it definitely is. So, you know, I'm going to always promote and support it because he's amazing at what he does. So we have Dos Minutos with Jorge, and Lilo is making her appearance. Hey, Lilo, what's going on this week, Jorge?
A whole lot of things that are happening. I just did a show with the Coalition Speaks with Change in Education, where we have Katina Taylor, Cecilia, I'm about to say her last name all wrong, Cecilia Belzer-Patton, Cornell Ellis, and myself, with other external guests that get to come on throughout, where we are focusing on topics that impact our teachers and educators, and we are truly trying to make things revolutionary. That episode tonight, if you have a chance, go look on Jorge Fuller for the People, the page on Facebook, as well as Jorge Alexander Fuller on not Instagram, LinkedIn. You will see a live recording or a share of that live recording. I suggest you watch it. There's some nuggets dropped in. There's some resources that was presented, but also some challenges to our civic leaders, right? Like, we can't do this work and not actually challenge those that are in the policy realm that is impacting us financially. So that was one thing. But every Tuesday night from 6-ish to 7-ish, today it lasts until about 7:30. I am on the show with them. And then I get to come on to the Lyne't Gray Show. So consistently, I've been able to show up. We do Dos Minutos, and it's supposed to be 2 minutes long, but we know it's never 2 minutes because
it don't matter
we are
either.
Talking about real things.
Yes.
So one of the things that we were looking at, noting, I want to tell you all to be sure you look at what is happening on the judicial side of the United States. Usually I just talk about the elected officials when it comes to the legislative and executive side, but the judicial side is what's making waves right now. Yes. They are considering, it was leaked that they're considering overturning Roe v. Wade, which means that it takes away women's rights for healthcare and their body, right? And removes the control from the federal government to the local, or I should say state governments. So if you look at your state and they are hesitant or resistant to abortions, right? And I'm just going to be frank. If they don't want you to have control over abortions, but they don't have good childcare options, or their adoption agencies aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, then they really are just setting up to have more children coming into space with traumas and increasing the magnitude of the disenfranchisement that is present. But they are resistant to they're pro-life and resistant to abortions without actually giving adequate supports to them. They are doing this. I suggest that you make sure your voice is heard. Your Supreme Court justices are saying that it's not a federal issue, it is a now state issue, and that is what is being proposed. We have until July, so late June, early July, when they're supposed to be making some statements or true decisions. Right now, it was just what was kind of like it was dropped, it was released. It was not supposed to be released. So I'm just saying, make sure you pay attention to the news when they talk about those issues. Yeah, so I wanted to get that off the chest. That was the Dos Minutos. Also looking at, like I said, look at tonight's episode of the Coalition Speaks. We talked about evictions and the impact on teachers, as well as teacher appreciation. So this week is Teacher Appreciation Week. So it starts May 2nd. That was yesterday, and it goes all the way to May 6th. Now, we know a week is not enough time to truly appreciate the staff and teachers at your local school. However, if you are an educator, understand that there's some deals out there. My favorite right now is going to be, I'm trying to hit up Insomniac Cookies. You are able to, if you spend $5, you get 6 classic cookies for free. So you can go ahead, get those deluxe cookies, and then get your classic walking out for free. And if you haven't had Insomniac Cookies, you might want to go down and figure it out. So I'm just saying that they are doing deals like that. Yeah. And I know you mentioned to me that I need to talk about some other stuff. So what else we got going on?
Yes. Tell it all. Did you tell it all?
I don't think I talked about most recent things or upcoming things. So this past Saturday, I got a chance to present to educators of color with Teachers Like Me, Elements of Education and Block at their Teacher Survival Toolkit. My presentation was educating beyond the four walls, or educational prosperity beyond the four walls of a classroom. If you were not there, I promise you I will be dropping a recording of it, of that presentation. I am also working with increasing more of my marketing strategy with Fuller for the People LLC, so that you can get, so I can be more engaged, but also you see my engagement with advertising as well. Legitimately, I realized that I have not been the most photogenic when it comes to taking selfies and catching myself in action. So I would tell anyone, if you see me out in the community, I will stop and take a picture with you. I promise you. I just ask that you tag me. And I'm not saying it like I'm a superstar or anything like that. I'm saying that I probably will forget to stop and take a picture, because I don't do things for publicity. I do things because I'm there to engage in the community. And that's what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm there about the work. So if you see me at a food distribution, if you see me volunteering with KCPS, if you see me out with a block or anything else, feel free to take my image, tag me in that image, and share it, as long as it's in positive lights. I promise that is what I want for sure. The other portion is that I am continuing to progress and work and tailor more things. Essentially, I'm going to be working on creating a more robust way to activate and engage with Fuller for the People. So if you are interested in learning more about that, you can just send me a message at fullerforthepeople@gmail.com. Other than that, summer's coming up, and we're going to continue giving these Dos Minutos. And if there's any events that you would like a keynote speaker that is truly in tune to the environment and about affirming and confirming the audience, feel free to reach out.
Jorge, I'm telling y'all, he would be the absolute best keynote speaker that you can bring in, and the wisdom of a young man that he carries. And every time people are like, Jorge's your son, I'm like, yes, that is my son. That's my bonus son. His mom raised an amazing son. Yes, I will definitely say that that's my son. But I told him, I said, you need to start, because I watched a couple of my shows a couple of weeks ago, because I was trying to find, people was asking me, you said this on this show. And I'm like, I couldn't find it, so I had to read. And I said, he doesn't promote himself. You know, he's all about the community and all about everyone else. And he does not tell what he does. And he does amazing things, y'all. So I told him, hey, you need to let us know everything you did in April and let us know everything you got coming up so that we can fully support you. I want to remind all of the Lyne't Gray Show viewers, let me pull it back up, because we need to remind y'all of some benefit concert and a fashion show runway fashion show. It's called, and he corrected us, his show appearance a couple of weeks ago is called As Team Village. I kept saying Ace Team, East Team. It's As Team Village, NSBE Junior. KC Digital Now presents benefit concert, and the benefit concert is for As Team Village and NSBE Junior. The headliner, y'all, is Dominique Hammonds. Yes, the violinist, the cold one. Yeah, it's all over Instagram. Yeah. And that's the headliner. They have the opening acts are Angela Wildflower, Mo Betta featuring Joe Gallant, and Just Wolf. It's going to be at the Gym Theater, 1615 East 18th Street, Kansas City, Missouri, 64108. And you get your tickets at the www.THE, G as in George, EM digitalkcnow.org. Or as he said, I think you can just go to Eventbrite and type in As Team, but I don't know if that was on Eventbrite, but I do know that when you go to www.thegym.digitalkcnow.org, you will definitely find the tickets. And it's amazing because if y'all don't know who Angela Wildflower is, she's a Broadway actress. And so he's pulling in heavy hitters for this show, and it's going to be an amazing show. Unfortunately I won't be able to attend, but I want to see everybody's videos. Y'all go ahead and buy the tickets and post your videos so I can fully support. And then we have let me pull it up. Then we have the Paseo Academy. They call it the Dressing Room. Their fashion show is called The Dressing Room, and it's Paseo Pirates, The Dressing Room Fashion Show 2022. The dates are May 6th through 7th, 2022. The location is Paseo Academy, and that address is what?
4747 Flora.
4747 Flora. The tickets are only $7 for anyone who can prove they're a student. So if you're a high school student, bring your school ID. And their adults are $10. When I tell you, Kishna, is that how she said it?
Kishna Couture.
Yes. When she posted the preview, oh, those kids threw down. That is going to be a treat for all. I'm going to have to go on the 6th because the 7th is Dapper Dan's prom, so I got to be available for that. But I'm definitely going. Those kids threw down just on the preview alone. The preview alone looks like, oh yeah, they ready. They ready. They came ready for it. And the people who donated any kind of, if you destashed to them and sent them, hi Miss Walker, if you destashed to them and sent them any kind of fabric, thread, any of that, those children took your donation seriously. Those students, they're children because they're in high school, but I'm gonna respect them and say those fashion students took your donation very seriously, and you're going to be so proud when you see the end results, because the sneak peek she gave us was tough. So I want everyone to attend. Please plan to attend both of those. And if you can't attend one, please just look into your pockets and pick the cheaper one and then make a donation to the other. They still accept donations, and every big and small amount counts. No amount too big or too small. Now I want to do something in my announcements. I want to bring attention to BFTAA and We Code Kansas City, We Code KC. These are two also nonprofit organizations that do amazing things in tech. BFTAA is the reason why y'all are watching us right now. So I'm asking people to like literally seriously support BFTAA. I know I'm on KUAW and I tell y'all to dump your $500 there, but like, if you dump it in BFTAA, I think they might be able to move it around a little bit. You get what I'm saying? So, I mean, I know it don't work like that, but they honestly, they do so. And I always, and y'all have heard me in the past say that BFTAA, As Team Village, and We Code KC should have a waiting list. They should be able to say, well, we're so full and so booked that our next enrollment is at this point in time. They don't have that, but yet people run around yelling, oh, they don't care about us and they don't give our kids jobs and the schools don't educate our kids. It's always the schools don't. But you have programs like this, and I will say these are the tech programs, and then A-Flat Music Studio with Mr. Daryl Chamberlain. That's the music program that teaches. My son was telling me in the car yesterday, and I was so proud because Mr. Daryl Chamberlain, they were the first orchestra to ever enter the St. Patrick's Day Parade, and they won. And so they won their award and everything. And it was the strings, the instruments got cold because it was cold, but they still made it sound good despite the instruments freezing and stuff. So Mr. Chamberlain said he saw that the school districts had removed music for the public school systems. And his vision was to bring symphony, classical, band, all of that to the students who don't have music. My sons had music. They attend University Academy. They had music. But the level, Mr. Chamberlain brings each student in and he tests them on music to see where they're at. And he told me, he said, yeah, your sons are really advanced, but they weren't advanced because of their school. They were their music teacher was excellent, but you can only move so far, so fast, because you might have a classroom full of kids who they just threw in there just to give them an elective, and you're repeating the same information because those kids don't care. And so he couldn't move them as far, but they were teaching themselves. The beautiful thing is Mr. Chamberlain, Aiden was playing the French horn. And Mr. Chamberlain told Aiden, you want to try the trumpet, you can try the trumpet. And that was when the year they did the St. Patrick's Day Parade. I think that was 2018. Here we are in 2020. Aiden is a junior in high school, and Aiden can blow that trumpet. He's so happy. He was like, I need to show Mr. Chamberlain that I can not only play the French horn, I can play the trumpet, and he plays the cello now. All because of everything he learned with A-Flat Music Studio. So there's no need, and I need parents to understand this one thing. The one thing that gets the college scholarships is the broadness. The first thing that gets you accepted into college is being able to write well. But when you can add broadness, when they see your music, and what you can do musically, when you can read music or something like that. Reading music is what A-Flat Music Studios teaches. So a lot of kids want to go to HBCUs, but they memorize music. A-Flat Music Studio, if your child wants to attend a HBCU and be a part of the band, they need to go to A-Flat Music Studio because he teaches them how to read music. BFTAA, those babies do some amazing, We Code KC, BFTAA, and As Team Village. You're not going to beat it. You're not. Those are programs that people pay a lot of money to attend. A lot of money. And I remember y'all were upstairs teaching an adult class, right, Mr. Walker? They were teaching an adult, it was like a heavy IT class when we were upstairs in this building. So that's what I want people to understand is begin to support, because these programs don't get the financial support that they should. And they have to basically keep soliciting. Well, when we support financially, I don't care if you do like Jimmy, what was it, Jimmy Swaggart, who said everybody send him a penny, and they sent him $1 million worth of pennies in the mail. I don't care if you do it like that. Get the money to the people. Get the money where they are actually utilizing it for the young people. The children are our future. If you want to see the state of us as a people in the future, look at our children. So now that we said that, we're going to get on. I have a rant, but I have some people to thank. Before my rant, I want to thank 5th District at Large Councilman Lee Barnes and his legislative aide. Is it Kima? What's her name, George? Is it Kima? Do you know? His legislative aide, Kima. I forgot her last name because I'm in the middle of talking. And then I want to thank Major Thompson she's the major over the Eastern Patrol Division. I had a situation at my house that me and the police finally figured out what happened, where a man was trying to bam my door down and get in my house. I tell people, my house must have used to been a former drug house, because the way he was hitting that door, my frame didn't give and my locks didn't give. They reinforced that door. But I had a man wake me up Saturday morning trying to get in my home. He refused to leave my porch. We're going to talk about this now because a lot of people said, oh, I would have shot him. Well, here's the first thing, and this is why I'm doing this on the show. The state of Missouri left it up to the prosecutors and the police officers. It is at their discretion. If you shoot someone on your property, it's at their discretion of whether or not they want to charge you. If you murder someone, it's at the police's discretion first if they want to charge you with murder charges. Here's the rule. If someone is standing on your porch, as long as your porch is not a closed-in porch with a lock on it, they didn't rip the door open and come in, then they don't have the right, but you don't have the right to shoot them. Yes, they're trespassing, but it becomes criminal when they breach your home and step both feet inside of your home. That's when it becomes criminal. And so a lot of people were like, oh, you better than me. And I was getting inboxes, oh, you better than me. I'd have shot him. I'd have shot through the door. I'd have done this. You cannot open the door. They have to breach your door or breach your window. And once they breach your door, breach your window, get both feet in, then you can shoot them. Here's the thing. If he breached the door and had 1 foot in and I shot him and it blew him back out, they could say, well, no, that was murder because he wasn't in your house if he didn't pull a gun. And so you have to understand these laws. And I tell people, not understanding the laws is what gets us as African Americans charged and thrown in jail for things that non-Black Americans, non-Black African Americans walk, not following the rules. And everybody was like, well, you could have had 911 hung up on me. They was like, we said, and they hung up the phone. They wouldn't even stay on the phone. And then they had a nerve to call back before they dispatched officers to ask questions that I had already answered. So that whole thing. And then I want all Black people who are watching, I need y'all to understand this one thing. And I had this encounter that morning. I'm half asleep. I answer the door. I'm on somebody's body cam in my grandma nightgown, the one that you pull up with the elastic that is a halter nightgown with my head scarf on. I'm on somebody's body cam looking like that, looking crazy first thing in the morning, because this all happened at 5:30 a.m. and the police got there at 5:40 a.m. and the police got there at 6:15 and he still had not left. They retrieved him off of my porch. Well, here's the thing. There are some officers who will try to engage you. They will have the most aggressive tone with you. They will have the most aggressive disposition with you. It is your job, since it's not theirs, evidently, to remain calm and to speak back to them. The lady officer who was being really aggressive with me, and she said, well, I need your information. I said, you didn't need nobody else's information every time. No, I said that's not true, because every time you arrested me, you did not ask the information of the person who wanted me arrested, and so she got upset and walked away. And so the other officers came and talked to me, and they gave me some very good information. They said, if you have situations going on that on your block that you like these people that moved in this vacant house next door that I keep reporting, and they're threatening to kill people, and it's all kind of crazy foolishness going on night after night after night. They said you can literally go to the station or call the station and ask for extra patrols, and extra patrols brings all the cars from around the different city to your neighborhood, all the extra cars. So that's one thing. So now that I've addressed that, I want us all to be safe. Parents, just know, and Aiden Dapper Dan, he sent me Life 360 because I'm that type of mom. I'm like, I want to know where you at, where you going with, who you going with. And so parents, there's an app called Life 360 that literally second by second, minute by minute tells you where your child is at. If you can't find where they're at, either they purposely didn't charge their phone, they turned their phone off, or they took their GPS off. So I need you all to understand Life 360 helps you with your teenagers. And Jorge, I know you've been up all day. You do not have to stay on here if you don't want to. Because I know you get
jump in. You said thank you to Lee Bars Jr., 5th District at Large Councilman, as well as his aide, Kima McCoy. That is her name, Kima McCoy. I just wanted to make sure I input that. Also, for those that are listening in, this is a very relevant topic. As this morning, they were just talking about a security owner off of 12th and McGee. He owns his business, and he is actually under investigation for not necessarily murder, but for battery charges. And it was in defense of himself and on his property. And so now legally he has to define, or they have to define, whether or not which way it is for him to use the stand your ground law, because the individual was in his personal property, his vehicle. And then when he came out of the vehicle, he then went towards him in an aggressive manner for the weapon that he had. Because, if somebody in your vehicle, like, hey, you need to come on out. Like, you're gonna actually have to draw your weapon. And so he came at him towards an aggressive manner, and he gave him 2 shots, right? And so his license is being suspended, or was expired, and he couldn't renew during this process. So it's like you're messing with his living wages. But this is something where you have to fully understand the stand your ground law. And this is down on 12th and McGee. So that's right downtown, or probably maybe 3 blocks over from the federal building, as well as the city or the police commissioner's building. So,
and so that's what a lot of people were like, oh, you need to do this. So y'all got to understand the way the state of Missouri runs. You literally have to dang near be being attacked and beaten for you to be able to defend yourself and get away with it. And the only thing I could think, and I remember my mother was law enforcement when I was a young girl, and I remember my mother training us and saying, she trained us how to use the gun, how to use the weapon. And she said, number one, don't draw it if you ain't gonna shoot it. And if you shoot it, you got to empty it out. Do not draw and shoot 2 times. That's the reason why when people hear about police shootings, you hear people being shot 5 times and 10 times and 9 times, 18 times. If you look at what type of guns they were pulling with, you can count each person emptied their clip. That's the reason why that person was shot so many times, because police are taught not to draw if you're not going to use it. And if you're going to use it, you got to empty that clip, and you're supposed to tap 3-point center mass. Tap 3 times center mass, and that means you're supposed to aim center mass, and at least 3 of those bullets hit center mass, and that's the kill shot. So me having a mother who taught me this, now my little brother didn't listen. He would walk away when she was teaching, but I was always intrigued with her police training. The one thing that kicked in, hi pretty, the one thing that kicked in with me was, you can't shoot through the door. And my mama told me, she said, somebody at that door, don't you shoot through that door, because you're going to go to jail. You let them get that door open. And when they get that door open, they got to get both feet in the house. Because when you hit them, the blood splatter is going to hit the wall. They're going to know where they were standing. And if you hit them and they got 1 foot in and you blow them back out, and then most people try to pull the person back in the house, that's murder. and they might get you for murder one because you knew they was out there and you went and got your gun. That's what I need people to understand. And I know, I'm telling y'all, it's so traumatizing. I was like this. I couldn't sleep Saturday, slept all day Sunday, because it was just traumatizing to stand there and wait for somebody to come through my door, because he was yelling, you blankety blank, you better open this door. But then the people next door was yelling they was going to kill him. Now, here's what happened. This nut, he on drugs. Like I told you, all the people over there are. He done took a black, he had a black like shopping bag that you get from the store when you buy your food. But then he took a brown paper bag that they normally put the big liquor in, and he filled it up with dirt, leaves, and he emptied out cigarette butts, packed it all together, rolled it up, and tried to sell it to the people in the house. So they were going to kill him. How did we find that out? Because I found the bag in my flower bed on Sunday, and the police came and pulled it out today, and he's unrolling it. And I was like, see, that's drugs or something. And he was like, yeah. And the more he rolled it, dirt and cigarette butt insides and leaves fell out of it. So that was a serious situation. And he kept telling the police, they gonna kill me, they gonna kill me. That's why he was trying to get in my house. Good thing my door jamb held up, because it would have been that situation. I'm glad George read exactly what happened. The reason why I thank Lee Barnes and Kima, what did you say her name was? Kima McCoy. The reason why I thank them is because in my frustration and anger at 7-something in the morning on Saturday morning, I sent an email. And I sent the email to every single Kansas City, Missouri city council member at large. Everyone. Every single one. It went out at 7:40 or 7:40-ish approximately. By 9:44, she had responded. Councilman Barnes' office had responded to me by 9:44 in the morning with information. I still have not gotten a response from anyone else. I stand on it. That situation would have never happened had I gotten a response from the April 19th email that I sent out. I stand on it. Everybody keeps saying there's different avenues you're supposed to take. I know this. I used to be in politics. I used to support people in politics. I know what you're supposed to do when it comes to anything for the local county or state, and including the federal. There's ways that you do things. I sent out an information on April 19th. It was never acknowledged. No one said anything to me. And this situation happened, and my family was in danger. That's why I thank Councilman Lee Barnes and Kima McCullough, because I'm going to say her name right, y'all, because they made sure that I was responded to. They responded to me with compassion, and it was a priority. This whole situation has made, making my house and the houses around that house safer a priority. I thank you to Major Thompson, because she has been in constant communication with me, and I truly, truly appreciate it. And so now that I've said that, we're going to jump around on topics today, because we have...
Can I jump in on that one?
Go ahead.
And I'll say this is not uncommon. It doesn't matter what area you live in, because even in the area I lived in, I had someone that was clearly inebriated banging on my door at midnight. And I'm like, well, I know ain't nobody I know that's there. And I had to make a decision whether to go get my pistol or just kind of ignore the person, because I'm like, you're not getting in my house.
Right.
But the reality is, it's like, once you do the CCW training class, you learn that it is literally, it's to kill. It's a tool.
It's not to maim.
Kill. Mm-hmm. Right? So if you're not willing to take someone's life, then don't pull it.
Yeah.
And I will say that again, if you're not willing to take someone else's life, don't pull your pistol. A lot of this is we see people that have not been trained, that will refuse to go to the classes. Yes, Missouri is open carry. Yes, Kansas is open carry as well. But I would tell you, if you are going to purchase a gun, go get the class so that you have safe training, safe handling, and you have that license. Or even if you don't, you want to pay for the license, you at least have that knowledge, because you are going to be making a decision to take someone's life.
Yes. Yes.
And if you're not willing to take that person's life, then don't do it. Because I'm saying I literally stuck trying to decide in that moment whether or not I need to go and get my pistol or allow this person to spare this person. Because in reality, you're banging on my door. I don't have to answer it.
Right.
As long as it don't come in, I don't have to answer.
Yeah.
And if you upgrade your security, most people have Ring doorbell cameras anyway, so you could literally talk through your doorbell. You don't have to open your door. And so if you haven't done that, if you don't have that, go get that. I'll tell you up front, Ring is not that expensive. Go ahead and purchase that so that you have it, so that you can talk through your doorbell and say, hey, who is this? Why are you here in my house?
Yes.
And it's not an easy decision to make. And at that time, you're going to do three things: fight, flight, or freeze. And if you're at home, there's no fleeing. There's nowhere to go. You can go and hide. And then freezing at the space is still the same as hiding. But in reality, if you fight, you are putting yourself at risk. If you open that door for that person, you're putting your household at risk for whatever harm or whatever things that they have with them. So just keep your door closed. Make sure your locks stay locked. I understand we are in Kansas City and there's parts where you feel super safe. I promise you, I grew up in Midtown, so there's no parts of Kansas City that I feel super safe.
Right. Come on now. Come on.
So that's just my tip.
and he told y'all right. That's the reason why I was able to stand on the other side of the door, because like my mother said, when you pull it, you got to use it. And the police motto, I'm going to tell y'all the police motto. People don't like hearing this, but the police motto is, first off, don't pull it. But if you pull it, you got to empty it. If you pull it, you got to use it. If you use it, you got to empty it. And if you empty it, you got to kill them. That is what my mother was taught when she was law enforcement. And she was Rockhurst College's first, before it was Rockhurst University, she was Rockhurst College's first female police officer, and definitely first Black female police officer in the 80s. So they were taught you have a split second decision, max 2 seconds, to make a decision on whether or not you want to take a life, if you're comfortable with taking a person's life. And that's what, when my mother weapons trained me, and I witnessed it with my oldest son, who's weapons trained from the military, and he's trained to neutralize it. He's trained that when you cross that line, there's a certain line you cross, he's trained for the kill, literally. And I've watched him take situations that would have made other young men fly off the handle and start pulling guns and going off. And I've watched him stand there, and he got his weapon on him. And he's just, it's not a threat to be neutralized. So you have to be willing, but a lot of us don't want to. And I'm going to tell y'all the law. That's what made me not go get a CCW permit, concealed weapons permit, because the law for the state of Missouri is you can have a gun in your home without a license. You can have a gun in your car without a license. The only way you can carry that weapon in public without a license is from your vehicle to your home, and from your home to your vehicle. You're not allowed to carry that weapon from your vehicle into any public location, because at that point in time, you need a concealed weapons permit. Even if you're wearing it on the outside of you, you're supposed to have a concealed weapons permit. You have the right to defend your home, but our stand the ground law is at the discretion of the police officers who respond. So if they arrest you and they decide to charge you, that's your decision that you have to make sure of. So I want everyone to understand, let them breach your door. Stand away from your door. Keep saying, you are trespassing on my property. Leave my property. The word is trespassing. When you call 911, someone is trespassing on my property and refusing to leave my property. A police officer told me long time ago when I was dealing with an ex-boyfriend who was trespassing and wouldn't leave. He said, you can put a sign this big in your window at the front of your house that says no trespassing. And if you catch someone trespassing, you can easily tell the police, there's the sign right there. And I told him he's trespassing, and it's perfectly legal if they come into your home. That's what everyone needs to understand. So hopefully everyone, also while we're at it, I want y'all to vote for Jorge Fuller for they have the Kansas City People's Choice Awards. So put Jorge's name wherever you can't figure out. No, don't do that because it'll void your, don't vote after 10 p.m. Jorge is community or Fuller for the People for best community business. Pretty unique for Kansas City's best model. Charles Nzalli, Charles, capital Nzally, for Kansas City's best podcast. People keep saying, I'm going to vote for the Late Gray Show for best podcast. I'm a radio show. I'm not a podcast, y'all. So y'all can put me for best radio show, put KUAW for best radio station. But I'm not a podcast. I'm a radio show. It just looks like a podcast, but it don't even look like a podcast for real. But so that's what I want everyone to get out and do. Go on ahead and cast them votes. Make sure you get your vote in. I'm not gonna say nothing else, but just make sure you get your vote in. And I'm telling everyone, get on the Fuller for the People, the Pretty Unique, and the 8+1, the Classroom, Charles Nzalli on YouTube. Get on that bandwagon now, because you're gonna want to be able to say you knew them back when. You're gonna want to be able to say, I've been your supporter since I'm telling y'all, and they got the eye for the people who are gonna blow up and do their thing. Another thing, Dre Taylor has a group called he's got a Facebook group for people willing to go to Ghana. What is the name of that group? George, are you in that group? No. Okay, well, I'm gonna find the group. Okay. Okay, but he has a group for his tours, his Ghanaian tours. And I would advise anyone who does not know someone on the ground. I always know people on the ground. I ain't never met a stranger. So I'm going to just let y'all know like that. I know people like, don't you go over there. They going to do this. And nah, they ain't going to do nothing. Trust me, I'm safer there than I am here. But y'all want to go to Ghana? Anybody who wants to go to Ghana, please become a part of his group, meet all his deadlines. Now he already set up a tour to somewhere else, and now he's setting up a tour to Brazil. I gotta go to Brazil because I see all my peoples in his videos. I was like, oh, because my son and I went to go see the We Don't Talk About Bruno movie. I don't know what the name of the movie is, but we were sitting there watching the movie, and Dapper Dan, Aiden, he looked at me, he said, why everybody in this movie look like you and your siblings and your mama and everybody in our family? I said, I don't know, but you could pick somebody from my family in that movie, and they were from Brazil. So I want y'all to, I just want everybody to be safe. I want everybody to look around, to be safe. If you got teenagers and young kids, Life 360 goes on the phone. LIFE, Life 360. Have them create the app and then send you the invite. So then it will always be connected to their phone, because they are the ones who created they're the ones who send you the invite. And so then everybody in the family can be on there together. You ain't too grown to not tell people where you're going. I'm 46 years old, and I send a text letting my children know. When I walk out the house, I tell them I love them, and I tell them where we're going. I need for everyone to understand that, and Saturday proved it to me. We got some folks out here on some other stuff, on some all the way other stuff. I don't care where you're at. I want every single woman in the United States of America to email all of the Supreme Court justices. I always tell people, you're pro-life till they grow up to be Black Americans. People don't like hearing that, but it's the truth. A lot of the pro-life people are pro-life until they grow up to be Black Americans who live in the inner city. Black Americans who wear locks, not dreadlocks, but locks. Y'all call them dreadlocks. Black American young women who they consider loud and ghetto and uncouth. Black American teenagers who get upset and have fist fights, but older white adults have fist fights at kids' games. Every single pro-life person is pro-white. Pro-life, I said that out loud, I'm sorry. But every single pro-life person is pro-life until you grow up to become a Black American. I need y'all to understand that. Jorge Fuller said something. And the reason why, y'all have to remember that the Supreme Court, and this is going to sound real conspiracy theorish, but y'all are going to understand what I mean. The Supreme Court is tied into the success of the United States. Right now, the United States is kind of failing and everything is going up because they don't have people filling the prisons. They don't have people. Prison work is literally, the men make good money. They drive dump trucks. They do all kind of stuff. They do road and bridges. They make your Victoria's Secret. They make your Bath and Body Works. They make the street signs that literally we drive past and read and see what street we're on. Right now, the prisons are emptying because they're finding that a lot of the Black men have learned the law and have taught their sons because of what they went through. And so they're not going into prison anymore. The sons aren't going in, and a lot of the men are being released, and especially with the marijuana laws the way they are. So what do? And this is what I told people this was going to happen years ago. I told them, I said, they're going to overturn Roe v. Wade. Because when you overturn Roe v. Wade, you have a whole bunch of women who will then go ahead and have the babies, and they will abandon the babies. Roe v. Wade was put in, was it January 22nd of 1973, I think? 50 years? Almost 50 years. You will have women now who will abandon the babies, and the babies will go into the system. And most children in the system are emancipated at 15. They become homeless. They have to do things that no person, let alone a child, should ever have to do to live, to exist. And so those children who are in the system, what happens then? They become your new prison inmates. There's nobody fighting for them. They're easy to roll on through because they have to take a public defender who tells them to take a plea. Even if they give you 120-day callback, 120-day shock, even if they give you that, you're still in prison. They still get that money for your head. You probably get more if you keep giving out 120-day shocks. The man put up an actual, and I'm going to post this to my Facebook page again. He put up how he became dang near a billionaire from owning a private prison. I need everybody to understand what's happening here with Roe v. Wade. Don't just look at that they're stopping women's health. They're taking away women's right to choose. Look at the fact that they are creating generations of inmates because they emancipate them babies at 15. That's what a lot of people haven't seen about it. So if you love people, if you claim to be proactive, if you claim to love children, I'm going to just say it like this. If y'all want to say late term abortions are no, that's fine. But don't let them destroy all abortion, because here's the thing. When they say no abortion, there goes your plan B. And plan B is a pill you take immediately after having sex. Y'all don't understand that. So every woman has to, plan B, you haven't even created the child yet. You wake up and pop a pill. But there goes your plan B, because RU480, is it called RU486? That's the original name of plan B. That is literally called the abortion pill. It stops the fertilization of the egg. Y'all, it goes deep. You have anything to add, Jorge?
Just the impact of it. If we don't look at it from the other aspect, understand the resources that are available. If you have all of these children that are disenfranchised, that are not having the educational opportunities as well as the economic opportunities, you're going to have a lot of civic problems. And I can promise you the adoption rates, it's expensive. So you're not just talking about like, hey, I'm going to put my child up for adoption. It's an expensive process. And so when we look at the avenues of this statement, putting it in the hands of local authorities who, or I shouldn't say local, state authorities who may or may not be relevant to the conversation, you're having men decide what to do with women's bodies. At the end of the day, it's not their body, it's not their choice, it's not their option. Their choice, their option is to have safe sex or abstain. But in many cases, they don't. So why you have this huge issue, it is about procreation, and it's really about procreation of a specific race and not all. And when we say this, I say this as we have to preach Black Lives Matter, as we have to talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, as it's important in all industries, if we have to talk about gender fluidity and understand that there's a difference when transitioning, we are doing all of this. But now you're saying pro, meaning that we have to take away the option for someone to make a choice about their body and bringing another being into this world that will not have the option to have opportunities governed to them that is done by their basic human rights. They're not going to be met with those. If you're truly about making sure that the people are taken care of, you have to look at it and you have to force your representatives to vote in a manner that is positive. It ensures that the rights of women are going to be taken seriously. And I'm not going to say this is a primary example of why the feminist movement has to continue, but this is also a primary example of why you must make sure that you fight this status quo or this change and shift back to a status quo where you have lessened voices, you are controlling bodies, and you're continuing to push a false narrative. And that's what I have to say on that one.
I appreciate you, George, and I have nothing else to add because he eloquently let you all know what's going on, like literally. And y'all get involved. Everybody send emails, lock up their fax machines, lock up their emails, whatever you got to do. Let's just let them know that Roe v. Wade stands. This is the Lyne't Gray Show here on KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom, Kansas City's first global community radio station. Join me next Tuesday at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll let y'all know who my guest is by then. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.
All right, Jorge. We'll see you.
See you later.
Okay, take care.